Get started. All right, so this is a quick review of What's Your Name, Unit 1, a Junior 1 conversation class. All right, so during the summer we looked at kind of how to introduce yourself, things to talk about. Here are some of those. We want to talk about what's your name, where you're from, when's your birthday, where do you go to school, or where did you go to school, what do you like to do in your free time. These are all good things to share when you want to get to know other people. We talked about names. All right, so we have English, we have first name and last name. So the first name is what your parents gave you. Your last name would be, it's also called, or surname, is your family name. And we call it last because in English, our family name is last. Our given name is first. In Chinese, it's the opposite, and we'll see that in just a second. We also have a nickname, and a nickname is a shortened form of a person's name. If you have a really long name, we can make it shorter. Also, it can be funny or silly names that your family or friends call you. Okay, a minute ago we talked about how English names, Chinese names are the opposite. Here is the example. We can see Wang Jinming. If you watch baseball and you listen to Taiwanese announcers talk about it, it was Wang Jinming. But then if you turned it over and you listened to American announcers, they would say Jinming Wang. Now, does that mean the American announcers were stupid? No, they know exactly what it means, and they switched his name so that the other Americans watching the game or English speakers watching the game would know Wang is his family name and not his first name. So they would get rid of a lot of confusion that way. So we practice some with names. Always have first name, last name. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. The Rock's nickname, the other is first and last name. All right, we have Michael Jordan, also called Air Jordan, sometimes called Mike, sometimes called MJ. We have this one, nobody knew this one. Her name is Catherine Elizabeth Hudson. Catherine is her first name. Hudson is her last name. Elizabeth is her middle name. And her nickname is the one that we know her by, which is Katy Perry. Katy is short form of Catherine, but Perry is not really connected to her real name. All right, here we have first name Kobe, last name Bryant. Nickname is the Black Mamba. So Mamba, now not Mamba. Many times students would pronounce this wrong, and it is Mamba. All right, this one nobody knows. We only know her by her nickname, and her nickname is Lady Gaga. Lady is not her first name. Her parents did not look like, oh, wow, so great. Let's call her Lady. No, it didn't work that way. All right, so her real name is Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germanata. Now, it is possible I said some of that wrong, but I think it's pretty close. Now, we look at grammar because everybody loves grammar. All right, so we looked at possessive adjectives. We limited our looking at possessive adjectives to my, your, his, her, its, our, your, their, which comes from I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they, which we look at later. We have ABCs because we want to go back to kindergarten when we didn't have any homework to do. So we like to take a few moments to pretend we can do that, but we can't. All right, so now we looked at ABCs. This is important when you want to know how to spell someone's name or spell your own name. So there is purpose to it. And for the ABC song here, I'll put a link somewhere so you can watch it if you want. We went to titles. titles. Now, this is very important. All right, you will see this on the quiz, but it's also really important for normal life, especially if you travel to stay for any long period of time in an English-speaking country. So titles for people is important. It's important we use the right one with the right person. So Mr. This is the easiest one of all. Well, not exactly, but this one's very easy. Mr. Is used with a man's last name, like me. So I tell everybody, I tell all you guys, call me Mr. Bean. Bean is my family name. So we want to use it with Mr. with my family name. Now from that, you would not know if I'm married or not unless I tell you or you ask. All right, so Mr. can be used for any man's last name, used with any man's last name. Now, Mrs. is a little bit different. Mrs. is also used with a woman's last name, a married woman's last name. She is married, and so we use the term Mrs. out of respect. All right, all these are actually out of respect, not just that one. All right, now the next one is Miss. We use with a woman's last name, and this woman is single. This means that she is not married. Okay, and it's pronounced Miss with the S sound at the end. The next one is pronounced Ms. with a Z sound at the end. Okay, this is very important. Do not confuse Miss and Ms. Ms. is usually used with a woman's last name, but if we use this, we do not indicate if the woman is married or not married. Ms. can be used with both. So, if you are in an English-speaking country, Ms. is always safe. If you use Miss and she's married, she will tell you and you will feel silly. If you use Mrs. and she's not married, she will tell you and you will feel silly. Some people get very upset. Most people will just tell you and you'll feel very silly. Some people might actually get really upset that you would use the wrong one. But if you use the term Ms. with the Z sound at the end, Ms., then you're going to be safe and you won't feel silly. And when I say feel silly, you'll feel embarrassed. It's like if you call someone IE and you should call them Jeje because she's like, I'm not old enough to be called IE. Don't do that to me. All right, then you kind of feel kind of embarrassed and bad about it. All right, now we have some more grammar. Actually, we just looked at pronouns again, but we want to look at. All right, so we want to look at pronouns with verbs. Okay, I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, you are, they are. Also in contraction form, and we practice this with the song "I'm Yours" by Jason Mraz. Everyone loved that. I know you did. All right. Phone numbers and email. So we had to count to 10 because we want to go back to kindergarten where we don't have lots of homework. And we have a number song that everybody loved and everybody went crazy. Excuse me. All right, so we got to read phone numbers. There is a right way or a better way and a not so good way to read phone numbers. First of all, if you see that little line in between the numbers, we don't say that. It is a dash. We don't say that when we get phone numbers. And anytime you see 0, we will almost always will use O. Instead of 0, we'll just say O. Now, normally the first numbers in a phone number we will say quickly together, and then the last 4 we'll kind of break them up. and it would sound something like this. 296 296 2350. I can do that. I can say 296 2350. So we put a little pause between the two groups of numbers, but within the group of 4 that's in the second half, we will actually put another small little break. So it's 296 2350. 520 447 9821. 1-800. Now this, because it's just 800, is easier to say than 800. It sounds 800 also sounds kind of silly. So this one will just be 1-800 555 1212. Now on the other side over here, we have 4 numbers in each. We'll still say the first one kind of all together, 5059 1023. That's easier to say for me. 5718 5718. There, I didn't break it up. 3389. 2149. 8577. All right, so we do take little pauses when we read phone numbers. All right, and the next one is how to read an email. All right, so first of all, let's look at this. Bob, we don't spell, if it's someone's name or the name of a business, we're not going to spell it, okay? We just say it. Bob at, okay, that is not a small little mouse, that is just at yahoo.bh. Now, anytime you see dot in an email address or website, it's always going to be dot. All right, so like Jeffrey.Amherst at BritishCouncil.org, or you can say .org. Org you can say or spell, which is different than .com, which is always .com. We never say .com. All right, let's look at the fourth one down here. All right, so teaching_job at English_academy.id. That little line at the bottom is an underscore. We need to say that. Now the next one, teaching-job at English-academy.id. When a dash is in a phone number, we don't say it. Dash is in an email address, we need to say it. All right, and the last one is like the school website, which you need to become very acquainted with, and you have to spell this entire thing. So like S18 at vtsh.tc.edu.tw. All right, so you just got to spell that one out. All right, one more thing. All right, here we go. The last thing we're going to look at is web addresses, and this is really simple. www.facebook.com. All right, if you can say the web address, if you say that part, we can say it. But the next one, www.espn.com. ESPN, we cannot say that. We have to spell it. www.yahoo.com.tw. Sometimes we see extra letters at the end like TW or CA is Canada. This indicates where the country it's in. Sometimes you can do that, sometimes you cannot. All right, and that is the end of our review. It is longer than I had wanted it to be, but we did go through everything in Unit 1. So if you watch this, good. I hope it was helpful for you. All right, see you later.